Hi and welcome to yet another Facemaker video tutorial. I am Nuno and today we'll be creating a watch face for Amazfit. As I said in my last video, I'll be doing watch faces for Amazfit because they resemble the most the wearOS framework that I am developing. So if you know how to build Amazfit watch faces, you will know how to build wearOS watch faces. And this is why I chose to build a Amazfit watch face. Okay, so let's choose the watch we'll be using today is the Balance. Okay, this is one of the latest watches for Amazfit. We have two variants here that we can use, and the watch face that I will be building is this one. So let me just open it on GIMP. And yes, you'll see me shamelessly copying someone else's watch face again. This is the work from, let me show you his page. So this is from a Kovalev, and he has some great watch faces. So if you're a wearOS user, you should visit this guy's watch faces and, you know, buy them if you like them. Okay, and yes, we'll be building this watch face here. This will be a long video, so we'll need at least 2 hours to build it. So go grab a snack, and I hope you like it. Okay, so let's start by copying this image into Facemaker. So here on GIMP, you can also do this with Photoshop, by the way. I will Control-C and copy the image. And here on Facemaker, we'll start by adding a background image, clicking this image preview here and pressing Control-V. And there we go, we have the image here. But as you can see, this is larger than the canvas and we need to do some adjustments. So let me see here, I think 5 pixels to the left and 5 pixels up. There we go. Now we need to resize it, make it smaller so it fits. And now let's zoom in and scale it. There we go. Now this should be fine for us to use as a reference. Okay, so right now you don't need to do this because we'll be deleting this image in the end. But just for good measure, I will crop the canvas and then make it a sphere. And there you go. Now it is perfectly adapted to the watch screen and we can proceed. So let's select the layer, the reference, and by the way, let's name the layer. And let me just set the preferences here. I think this is set to autosave, and indeed it is. So it will save the project every 2 minutes. And if you often forget to save your projects, you should use this feature, okay? So now we'll give it a name. So it's called, let me see here, WFP308. So WFP308. And submit, and then we'll save as, and I'll save it on the desktop for now. And now, since we gave it a name, Facemaker will save it every 2 minutes. Okay, so now we can proceed. And I'll start by building, as usual, the background elements. So we have 2 distinct elements here on the background. We have an outer circle and this inner circle. Okay, so let's build them. Here I'll add an image, put it on the top left, so 0 and 0. You can also just drag and put it on the top left. If you prefer to have the freedom of putting the widgets where you want, for example, going outside the canvas, you can disable this option on the preferences interface, which is called contain widgets. And now if I move the widget outside the canvas, we can go outside the canvas, okay? But if you're a newbie, if you're just starting, I advise you to keep this option checked, which is checked by default, by the way. So let's put it on the top left and then press generate. And here I will select not dial, but circle, okay? We're doing this outside circle here. So I will increase the line width. Go with this for now. And remember to go with an even number here, okay? Because if you go with even numbers, in the end you will have an even number on the total size of the widget. And this is important because we want to match the 480 by 480 here, which is the size of the screen. So let's increase the radius until we have 480 here. We went above, so let's fix it. And I would say this is almost perfect. Let me just hide it and show it. I think this can be thicker. So let's go with 48 and decrease the radius. And there we go. Now we have a perfect result. Now we need the circle, the inside circle. So let's add another image, press generate. And this time I am going to place it here. So I want to define, let me just lock the widget. I want to define this gap, okay? I want to have a gap between these two elements. I think maybe 51, and yes. So since it's 51 here on the top, it must be 51 here on the left. So I'm gonna set it to 51 too. Right there, okay? I'm not sure we'll be using this value, but for now, we'll use it. Here on the side, since this is a polygon, we can create polygons with whatever size we want. If you want to make it a circle, you just set a high enough value here. So let's go with 200. And now let's increase the width. And we might do some math to achieve the size. So we know we have 51 of space here and here. And to keep this centered, we must have 51 here and here. So it's 51 times 2. Let me just open the calculator here. And so 51 times 2 is 102, okay, minus 480, which is the size of the screen, will give us 378. So we can insert it directly here. 378, oh, sorry, 378 and 378. And there we go. We have a perfect circle that is perfectly centered and with the same spacing here and here. And this is what we needed, okay? Now it's time to give it the right color. In this case, it is a gradient, as you can see here. So let's start with the outer circle. So let's start naming things. Circle outer, and this one, circle inner. And I am double clicking the name of the widget here. You can also change it on this field here, but I find it easier to do it here, okay? Okay, let's go into the circle outer, and here I'm going to start adding some effects. So we want to give it a gradient effect. And now I am going to open the gradient tool, zoom in, and I'm going to start picking colors. So we want to start on this one here. So let's pick it. There we go. Let's add a middle color here. By clicking this bar, we can add control points. So I'll add one here. There we go. And then I will sample this color. Okay. And then the top one. So select this control point here and pick that color. There we go. Now you can rotate the gradient, and I will rotate it like this, okay, to copy this effect here. So this gradient is done, and if I show the widget, you'll see that we have what we need. We might need to do some tweaking. Okay, so here, let me just make sure, yeah, this color is correct. We just need to push it to the left. Okay, there we go. And here, I might do the same with this one. Okay, the idea is to make this highlight in the middle more pronounced, so as you see here. And I believe this gradient will work, so I'll use it. Here, now we're going to apply the same gradient. And this is easily done in Facemaker. All you have to do is switch to the Effects tab up here and choose Last Gradient. So if I show the widget now, you'll see that we have exactly the same gradient as we applied on the outer circle. And this will work perfectly, okay? Now I see that in this gap, through this gap, we can see the background. Since we'll delete the reference image, this is what will be seen, okay? So this is not a problem for now. I might add a black image in the end, but since we'll be merging all the widgets, it doesn't really matter, okay? So, but if you prefer not to have this part here transparent, this gap, you can add a black image on the background, and then when we merge all the widgets, you won't have transparent parts on your background image, okay? So let's proceed. And now, if you notice here on the reference, we have a sort of a bevel effect. And this bevel is applied to the outer circle too, as you can see here. So let's add it. Here, I will collapse the gradient effect and add a bevel. So let's show the widget. And I believe this is too strong because this color here, it's too bright, okay? This is pure white. Let me see here. As you can see on the reference, this is some sort of gray. So we can achieve it by either using a gray color here, like this, okay? Or by reducing the effect transparency, as you can see. So we're still using white, but making it transparent. And I believe this will work, okay? So I'm gonna add, let me see here, let's go with 2 pixels for both the highlight and the shadow, right there, okay? So yes, I believe this will work. I'm going to apply the same effect on the inner circle. So as before, we can simply select the last effect that we applied. So there we go. Now we have this effect where you can see some sort of, elevation here and here. And also you have the shadowing effect. Now we have a slight problem, which is, if you notice here on the reference, the bevel effect is not visible on this part here. So it should be outside, okay? And on the image we created, we have the bevel effect. So we need to fix this. We know this has 2 pixels of width, this effect, okay? So what I'm going to do to fix it is I'm going into the outer circle and I'm going to push it 2 pixels to the left, 2 pixels on the top, right there. And now I need to make the image 4 pixels bigger. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. What we did is we put the effect outside the canvas so you can see it. I see that we can still see 1 pixel of the effect. So I'm going with 3 and 3, and then increase by 2 here. And yes, this should work. So now we have a slight problem, which is the image is going outside the canvas. With a Amazfit, this is not a problem per se, but you should always try to keep your images inside the canvas. And for that, I am just going to apply the modifications, so the transformations, the scaling, and then I will crop the canvas. This will apply all effects, but don't worry. And then we, just for good measure, make it a sphere. There we go. Now we can proceed. We have the background images, and we can start creating more complex widgets here. Now I was thinking about doing these. So these marks all around, and I will do it. So let's go into the reference, and I will rotate it minus, I think 30. There we go. Just so we have this this element here perfectly centered, and I will enable the guidelines so we can see if this is centered, and it isn't. So, you know, when we get images from the internet, this can happen, but no worries, we can move it 1 pixel to the right and solve it. Okay, let's create the shape. So this is hard to replicate in Facemaker because it has some sort of a 3D effect, and the best way to do it would be to create 2 separate elements. So first this one here, and then this one here, and I don't know, I think I'm gonna create them in separate. Okay, so let's do that. Let's draw vector and start drawing this shape here. So click and go past the central, the middle guideline there, and finally just close this shape. So I clicked and then I dragged the control point over the first one. Okay, so here I am going to fill and save. Okay, this is now done, and we can add another image, and here on this one I will draw a vector like before and start heading points. So I am using Control Alt or simply Control to preview the line. If you press Control, you have a preview, or rather Alt, the Alt key. You have a preview of the line, and if you press Control, you have 45 degrees increments. So this allows you to create straight lines. And now I need it to create this one here, and we can use it to close the shape, but you don't need to close the shape. Why? Because we're past the middle guideline. So we can simply fill the shape here and then just save. Okay, and the necessary shapes are created, as you can see here. Now I am going to apply a mirror effect to each one of them. So let's go in here and add, or we can simply type mirror. There we go, and apply the horizontal mirror effect. And there we go. We have a full image that we can now apply all. Do the same for this one here. So effects, and now we don't need to search it because it's the last one we applied. So last mirror, horizontal, apply all, and done. Okay, so we have the simple shape we needed, and now we can create the necessary effects to make it look something like this. Okay, so let's start with let me see here. Okay, I think I will go and add this gradient here. So effects and gradient, and now we need to pick those colors. So let me select this one here, and then the top one. There we go. We might need to make it more pronounced, something like this, and perhaps push this white color above. Now you'll notice that this is nothing like this one, okay? And this is why. So right now the image is the full size of the screen, so 480 by 480. And the effect, the gradient specifically, is added to the whole image. So it's being applied to the whole size of the image. And this lighter color is down here, and this darker color is up there. This is why you only see the darker color applied to the widget. So to solve this, all we have to do is crop to canvas here. And this will apply the effects. Don't worry about it. So now we are going to apply the same effect, so gradient. And now we can pick the colors and it should work perfectly. So right here, and this one right here. And let me just emphasize, oh, I think I cropped it to canvas. Yes. We should use, sorry about this, we should use crop to content right there. So make it, cut the most and use only the useful part of the image. So now it has to work. So let's go into gradient. There we go. And pick the lighter color right here, and then the darker color. There we go. Yeah, this happens sometimes, so never mind. Okay, this is done. We can proceed to the next one, which is the larger part, this one here. And this one will have a more complex gradient. So here I will crop it to content this time. We'll do it correctly. And now I'll apply a gradient. So here we need to tweak this gradient. Let's go ahead and define the colors. So this darker, this bottom color will be this one. I'll add a new stop here, okay? And then another one very close next to it, right there. And then I will pick this darker color. There we go. Now we'll add another segment right there, and another one next to it. And this one will pick this color right there. And finally, we'll select this one and pick the upper color right there. So we now have something similar, not the same, okay? So let's try and make this transition softer right there. And do the same for the upper one. There we go. And now I think I will apply a inner shadow. So let's go ahead, a inner shadow. There we go. We won't go with a darker color, but a lighter color. So I think I can pick this one straight up. There we go. And okay, let's reduce the blur right there. So now we have some sort of highlighting all around, as you can see there. Okay, so now there's only one thing missing, which is the background shadow. Okay, I think, yeah, we can apply it now. So let's do it. Here, let's select shadow. There we go. And now I will show these elements here so I can see the final result. So let's increase the blur and the strength perhaps. And there we go. We have something similar, not the same, but I think it will work perfectly. So let's add the same shadow to the upper element right there, okay? And this should work perfectly, okay? Let me see here. We might push this up just a little bit. Okay, or maybe this one down. There we go, just so we have a larger separation between the two. Okay, so this is done. We can now simply add and merge the two of them, these two, okay? I will, for good measure now, just crop the canvas, and we need it to be the same size as the watch, okay? Because now I am going to use another effect, which is the array rotation. So we need it to have all around, and for this I am going to add an array rotation, make it 12, and then each time at each iteration we'll have 30 degrees. And if I hide the reference and show the background widgets, you see what we have here. So we replicated this image here and made it rotate all around the watch canvas. And this is the final result and exactly what we need, okay? I am going to apply the array, and here you'll notice, oh, it's the same size as the watch canvas. So this is perfect. We can proceed, and here on the reference, you'll notice that, let me just hide this and reset the rotation. There we go. You'll notice that on 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, we have these which are different, and we need to create them. But right now, these are above, so we need to delete them, okay? So for that, I am going to simply select the widget and use the edit image function, okay? So this is a simple image editor that you can use in Facemaker without needing to use GIMP or Photoshop, okay? You could as well use the integration, the integrated external editor. And Facemaker has such a feature that you can seamlessly export images from Facemaker into GIMP or Photoshop, edit them and save them, and Facemaker will update automatically. But for this, which is something simple, you don't need Photoshop or GIMP. You can simply use this tool here. So I switched to the eraser tool right here, and we can simply delete these. So you see, for something simple as this tool works perfectly. So this is done, and we deleted those that we didn't need. Now we need to create those here, these, okay? So let's do that. Let's add an image, and as before, I will draw a vector and try to replicate this shape here. Now we need to make sure that we have a clear separation here. There we go, connect it, and we can fill it and save. That we have a clear separation here. So let me show you the guidelines. You can see that we have some sort of spacing here. We'll have to make sure that we have a separation here between them. If I hide the guidelines, you'll notice that we have it. Okay, so we have to replicate that perfectly. So this one is done, and we can make the lower part here. So image, draw vector. Let's draw this shape here. Oops, I accidentally added a new control point, but no problem. And now let's go all the way down in here and right there. Okay, now let's move this and join them. Make sure we have a clear separation there. Okay, let's fill it and save. Okay, this should work as before we had those gradients, and I forgot to save them. Okay, now we could use them and make our jobs a little bit easier, but don't worry, I am going to make it very fast. So first we can crop the content. There we go. And then add a gradient. Because I could have added the gradient we done before in the favorites. And now all I had to do was select it. But since I forgot, you'll have to pick those colors again. Okay. we go. Maybe make this transition harsher, just like that, and add it to the favorites this time. It's not that I will need it, because when this is done, I don't believe we'll need this gradient anymore. But I'm just trying to convey, you know, some good practices. So here, we may use this gradient, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to edit it, okay? So this one, let's pick this color, had a control point here, and this might be too dark. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it was too dark. There we go. And now this one, we'll pick this color here, add a new stop, and match it with a reference here, and add a new control point, and pick this color, and finally the top one, and there we go. We have something that is similar. You can save the gradient, but as I said before, we won't need it anymore, okay? So, okay, here, we now need to, you know, emulate to copy this effect. And this is nothing but a bevel effect, I think. So let me apply a bevel. There we go. This is way too strong, so I will lower the opacity right there, and perhaps go with a 2 pixels here and here, and again edit the opacity right there. Okay, I think this is perfect. Now, the only thing I need to do is to apply, or rather to copy, to replicate these. So I will clone it, and then I will push it to the right there. And this one, I will also clone it. And this one needs an extra effect, which is the flip horizontal. So flip horizontal, and now we can simply move it to the right. And yes, this is not what we needed, because we need to flip it before we apply the bevel. So let's move it underneath the bevel, and now you'll see that the bevel effect is on the right side, which is correct, or rather on the left side. So here I will hide this and see what we have here. Well, okay, this is not perfect, of course. Let me just push this slightly above, and okay, this might work. Okay, let's select this one and push it to the right just a little bit. Okay, this might work. So let me bring the background images right there and see the whole effect. And yes, I believe this will work perfectly. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. I will maybe make sure that this is aligned, and indeed it is. Let me just check the middle lines, and this is not centered. So it was actually good that I checked this, because now we can move these two slightly to the left until we have this, okay? Now let's hide the guidelines, and yes. Okay, this will work perfectly. So now we need to merge these 4 images. So let's do that. Add, and keep in mind that every time you merge widgets, their effects will be applied. So keep that in mind. It had the gradient and the bevel, and they're now applied, so you can't change them anymore. So keep that in mind, okay? Let's go and add a shadow. There we go. Increase the size and maybe increase the strength. Let's take a look. And perhaps more blur and less strength. Okay, let's check the center guideline, and this is centered, so I believe this is perfect, so let's apply. And finally we need to add an array rotation. So just like before, but we need to make it the same size as the canvas, so delete it and let's make it the same size as the canvas by selecting crop the canvas. There we go. Now we can apply the array rotation. We need 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each time we will rotate 90 degrees, okay? So 90. And there we go. So let me hide the guidelines and see what we have here. And I think this will work perfectly. So we can now proceed, apply the array rotation effect, and we're good to go. So let's make another widget. So I thought about start building these circles here, and this is very easy. We just add an image, and then I will generate and pick those gray gradient right there, and the outside gray color you see here will be added later with a border. Okay, so right now we need to make it a sphere, a circle. So let's insert 200. There we go, and make it much smaller. So we see here that we have a, now let me see here, and we can lock the layers so that we don't have that line getting in the way. So I believe 158 is perfect. Now let's push it up. And something like this should work. Okay, so we have that basic circle, and we can center it by simply grabbing it. And since we have the snapping enabled here, it will be aligned to the center. And since this is completely centered now, we can simply adjust the Y position right there. Okay, so this will work perfectly. Now we need to add a border. So let's do that. Let's go into the effects and add a border effect. And let me just hide the widget for now because we need to pick this color here. So let's go and select the color right there and right there. Okay, so increase the size. Let's go with 3 and maybe mode 2. Let's show the widget. And there we go. We have something that will work perfectly, I think. Let me try mode 1 and hide the reference. Mode 2. Well, I don't know. Yeah, this one might work better. So let's go with mode 1. And this is now done. You'll notice that we could improve this because here on the reference, here on the reference, you'll notice that this has some kind of feathering effect. Okay, I'm not sure this is necessary because it will look too blurry in my opinion. But you can do this. You can, for example, add a, let me see here. Well, not maybe like this, okay? The only way to do it would be to add a circle widget above and then adding a inner shadow effect. Because if I apply it now to this old image, let me show you here. So inner shadow, and go with a small value, you'll notice that the feathering is done only on this side. But you know what? I think it works. Okay, so let's use it. Yeah, I think it works. So let's go with this and inner shadow. And finally, we need a shadow behind. So let's add it. Let's select shadow and increase the blur. And there we go. This will work perfectly, and I think we're done with this, okay? So I am going to start renaming stuff, so marks, and we can join these too. So let's merge them. There we go. And this circle should be behind the marks. So let's drag it and put it behind it. So there we go. Now we have that one built. And let's take a look at the reference. We must have this circle here. So I can see that we have some sort of a circle that has a black background or a black line, a black border all around. So let me see how we can do this. I'm gonna do this the hard way, okay? You wouldn't have to do this normally. You could get away with using a simple circle for the background and then adding this dial here. But I want to add this gradient effect. You'll notice that this circle here is lighter on this side and darker on this one, okay? So I want to, mimic this and try to make the same and recreate it. So let's generate, and here instead of using a polygon, I'm going to use a circle. So the circle is exactly what it says, a circle. And we can isolate it, and let me just show the background here. I think I will, I believe this is centered. Yeah, absolutely centered, according to the one on the background. Let me just hide these for now, and I think this will work perfectly. So now all we need is to have this this dial inside, and then a full circle with this color here, okay? So now we can make this outer circle independent and give it this gradient, so lighter here and darker here. So let's do that. Instead of applying an effect, I'm going to create it with the gradient from the start, okay? And now we rotate this, make the lighter part on this corner here, and this should be perfect now. There we go. This is exactly what we needed. And okay, now we need a circle on the background. So let's do that. We know it has to be 139 by 139. So let's add an image and generate, and here 139 by 139. And now let's make it a sphere, so 200. Oh, sorry, I rotated instead of setting the width and the height. Okay, so 139 by 139. Zoom out, and maybe I will set the color right now. So pick this and pick this. There we go. And yeah, it's almost one solid color, but it doesn't really matter. Let's zoom out and now try to match the same location as that circle. And this is, I believe, perfectly centered and positioned. So we now can simply hide the reference and show everything else. And here on this circle, I am going to apply a border. So let's add a border and make it black. There we go. Maybe increase the size. So there we go. This is exactly what we needed. And now inside we can add the dial. So let's do that. So here I will add an image, generate, and select dial this time, okay? And I know for a fact that this has 12 marks. So let's use the hours 12 template, okay? Here, let me just take a look at the reference. Okay, we have everything. So we have hours marks, we have minutes marks, and we have the digits. So we can use them all. So let's do that with just one widget. So here I will start defining the values. So 25, 70, 120. Well, we can really use this this scale. I think I am going with 0 to 100% scale instead. And this is because you don't always have the scale. This scale depends on the subject age. So for a younger guy, this scale would be higher. And for an older person, this would be, this should hang on the 200 at most. So yeah, since this is relative, this is subjective, I think I will go with a 0 to 100% values, okay? So this should be 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, okay? So let's do that. Here on the 12, we should have 50. This one should have none. So 70, none, 90. And you'll understand what I'm doing in a few seconds. Let me see here. This one has nothing. Okay. And this one has nothing. Here it will be 10, nothing, 30, and nothing. Okay. So now let's change the color of the digits. So here I want to choose a lighter gray. Never go with whites, okay? Not pure whites, not pure blacks. There we go. And let's choose another font. By the way, you can import fonts to use here by going into the preferences here and fonts, and then you import them here. Or you can simply copy the fonts into this folder. So C, Facemaker, and fonts. Okay, if you copy them here, all you have to do then is click update, and they are updated here on this list. Okay, so let's go with the Roboto Bold, I think, or perhaps let's try Russo 1. And yes, I believe this one will do perfectly. So now let's make this smaller. And as you may see, I'm trying to match this scale here, right there, and maybe push this up. And I might, yes, I will show all the background images we created until now, because I need to match it to this one, not the reference image, okay? So now we need the marks, so let's do them. Here, I will enable the hours. And as you can see, this is way too large because we want it to be on the inside of this circle, okay? I will lock it so we can see it better. And let's make it smaller. So right there. And we can push this down. And yes, this is perfect. So now I will push the digits inwards like that and make the hours marks smaller. So something like this. I may have to match it with the reference, so give me just 1 minute here. Okay, 8 should be enough. And I think the numbers can go inwards a little bit more. There we go. Okay, now all we need to do is enable minutes here and try to match the size. So I think they are 2 pixels wide, and indeed they are. And now let's show the our images and see what we have here. And all we need to do now is make it darker. So yeah, let's make it darker. We could as well just apply a simple color fill effect later. So here, let's pick this color here, and for the minutes too. So there we go. And this should be perfect now. And yes, I believe it is. So now this is done, and we can call it done. There's just one problem. Here, you'll notice that we don't have marks on the bottom side. So what I will do is delete these. So let's select the dial image and select edit image. And I'll make the feather or the brush slightly smaller, something like that. And I will delete these. And there we go. Save, and we're done. Okay, we can now proceed. Let me see one thing here, because I will have to replicate this circle here and here. And I believe they can all be the same. So as you can see, 10, 30, 50, 70, 90, and the same goes for the steps or the distance here. Okay, so I will, I think I can merge all these. So let me see here. Yeah, this is the background, the circle, and the dial. Okay, I'm gonna merge them. So add, and finally add. There we go. We have the full image completely merged, and we can simply clone it and push it down right there. So let's see if this is centered, and I believe it is. We just need to push it downwards just a little bit, and let me just compare the one on the top. So yeah, it's flush with this. Let's try, and yeah, one more pixel, and it should be, yes, I think this will work. This is perfect. We can now proceed. So these two are made. We can now copy it into this one here. So let's clone, unlock it, and this one is smaller. So you'll notice that this one is much smaller. So all we need to do now is scale this one image here and try to match the height. So let me see here. Yeah, now we have to increase it a few pixels more, and yes, I think this is perfect. Okay, so it should be on 167, and let me see just the horizontal position, and yes, this should work perfectly. Okay, now this one is made, and well, we made a lot of progress with these last three images. Okay, so now let's hide everything, show the reference, and I think I will address this shape here. Okay, so let's add an image, and here I will try and match the size of this. So okay, and press generate. Go with a much smaller shape. Let's lock it so we can see better what we're doing. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but we will try. So like that, move it to the right or to the left, and yeah, let's keep it to the right. And I believe this is done. Now I'm going to hide it because I think this has to be black, and indeed it has. So let's make it black. And yes, this is done. We can now add a rounded corners effect. And let me see here, maybe 60. We can't really see it because this is black. Let's edit the bottom right one, or bottom left, sorry. There we go. Yeah, this is way too much. So let's go with 50. And yes, 50 is the way to go. So 50, for all corners. Okay, there we go. We now have that simple shape. We now need to add a border. And this border will be kind of thick. So first we'll define a gradient. So the bottom one and then the top one. Right there. And maybe rotate it a little bit and make it thicker. Let's go with 3 pixels. And yes, this will work. This will work perfectly. Okay. Okay, now we can make the other shapes inside. So let's hide this one and add this one here. This one is the main one. Okay, so let's add an image. Press generate. Let's make it much smaller. And I believe we'll use the same method we used for the one behind. So let's go with 120 for now, and this should be much smaller, the height. Now, I am not sure about the because this has a separation here. Now let me see here. How am I going to do this? Okay, yeah, this should be the lighter outside, this one here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's push it to the left, right there. Now push it up and then increase this. There we go. And now I'll show the background one. So we have the same space on all sides. So this is important. Right there. Make it smaller here too. And now this is done. We can apply a rounded corners effect. And this time we'll go, by intuition. We'll use our intuition and see what works best. Because we're looking at the reference image and we're using it to try to replicate something. And yes, I believe this will work, so we can call it done. I'm just not sure about the background of that gray image. So let's bring back the reference. And yes, this is much darker, and it has some sort of gradient. So let's add it. Gradient. There we go. And now we need to pick these colors here. So this one, and then the darker one. There we go. We might need to do the same for this one here on the outside, but we'll see that soon because we haven't applied any effects yet. So we can make modifications later. Okay, let's see how this looks, and I think this will work very well. Okay, so let's go with this, and now let's hide everything and create finally these insides, this field here and here, one for the weekday and another for the month day. Let me see here. I think the best way to achieve this will be to create these shapes. This one here. Because you'll notice that this one has another border. This one doesn't. So I'm not really sure how I'll shape this, but I will stop thinking about it and I'll just do it. Okay, so let's resize it. We'll try to match that, and I'll lock it for now. Make it smaller, something like this, and move it to the right. That, and now make this much smaller. So right now it's 60, and let's show the our images here. Well, okay, this can be taller. I'll go with this value here, I think. maybe not, because this needs a border around. So let's push it down, 1, 2, and push it to the right, 1, 2, and make this smaller by 4. And there we go. Okay, so this one needs to be some dark gray. This one here. So we'll do that. Let's apply this color, the shape, and we have it now. So we now need to make it rounded here and here. So let's do that. Let's go into the effects, rounded corners. There we go. And we need to change the top left and the bottom left. Okay. So let's bring back all the images, I mean, and let's tweak this. Let's go with 38 for now. And it might not be enough. Let's go with 44. There we go. Okay, now we need to add a border. So let's go and add a border. This will be some dark gray. Not this, of course. Let's add this one. It needs to be much darker. Right there. And now increase the width. And there we go. This is exactly what we need. So, but before we have the border, we might need to tweak the rounded corners right here. And remember, since this is applied first Facemaker applies the rounded corners, and then it applies the border. So let's change this to mode 2. There we go. And I think I prefer this way. Now I'm gonna add a inner shadow. So inner shadow, let's put it before the border. So right here, and there we go. Now this is exactly the effect I was going for, and I believe this will work wonderfully. Yes, we might increase the blur here and maybe the strength. No, it's too much, so let's go back to 1, and yes, this will work. Okay, now to do the other one, this one here, all I have to do is clone it, move it to the right, and here on the effects I will add a flip horizontal. So the flip horizontal will flip everything, even the borders. Okay, you'll notice that the rounded corners is defined on the top left, so it should be here, but it's here because the flip horizontal is working after the rounded corners. Okay, so now I need to move it to the right and have some clear separation there. And now I will unlock the aspect ratio and I will make it smaller. Something like this. Okay. Now we need to tweak the colors. Okay, let me see here. So now the inner shadow will go above the border right there. And we need to edit the color of the border. So this will be some light white, almost white color, something like this. Okay, and we need to apply the same for, let me see here. Oh, we need to, yeah. Okay, let's remove the border. It will look smaller. Okay, and this is perfectly normal. I need to add a fill color first. So, because this is gray, so fill color, and let's go with light gray, something like this. Okay, and this should be behind the inner shadow. There we go. Now we need to resize it. So here on the properties, I will push it up, push it to the right. right there. And now make it taller and not so wide. So something like this. And this separation might be too large, so okay. Now here on the inner shadow, I might have to increase the strength, and it is resetting because it is applying to the true size of the widget. Okay, whenever you change something here, you should apply it because otherwise this will happen when you're working with effects. So now I am going to really apply the modifications we do. So here, make it smaller, and okay, and apply. Oh dear, let me see, flip horizontal. Well, I'm not really sure why the, oh yes, okay, I am sorry, there we go, now it is correct. So yeah, this modification, the image modification, should be applied here before you apply effects. And yeah, it's very hard to calculate image resize here or rotation and then apply all the effects because it has unpredictable results. So you should take that into consideration. Now I am going to apply all the effects, and now we can play with the size and make it work. Okay, so here I am going to apply all the effects too, and then I am going to resize this accordingly. So I want to make it smaller, push it down just like that, just so it's centered here. Okay, and perhaps make it not so wide, and this one too. Move it to the right just slightly and make it smaller, or rather push it down and make it smaller. There we go. There we go. Now I believe this will work much better, and we can now proceed. You can see what we did here, and I think this will work perfectly for what we need to do. So now I think I'm going to start adding some data types. So here we should have the month. So everything is locked. We can hide and show the background, and I'm going to add the weekday. So for Amazfit, you had a widget, and here we can go to system date. Okay, and then we have several options you can use. I will go with weekday image set. It's this one, this icon. Okay, so then we press generate, and we might use this font. So let me just try to match the size, and for it to have the same height, the width won't fit. Okay, so we might need to choose another font. Let me see what we have here. This one is too thin, I think, and indeed it is. So we need to find something else. These, by the way, are are default on Facemaker. So whenever you install Facemaker, you have these fonts already installed. Okay. Well, this one should work. Let me just try to match the height. Let's switch to Saturday. And I think we have a perfect match. So I'll go with this. And now we need to match the color. So remember, you have to set the color not only on this field right here, but also, and let me add it to the favorites, but also on this one. And this is because this one is the last image, so or the selected one. Let me show you the image set. So you can see everything is pink up until Sunday, and Sunday is using this last color here. So you have to set this one if you want all the images to be the same color. So I saved it on the favorites, so we can simply select it and we're done. Okay, so put it there. I'm gonna show all the images here and lock it and see what we have. And I might push it up just a little bit right there, and let's see all the weekdays, perhaps a little bit to the right. I think one of the big ones is Wednesday, so yeah, just a little bit to the right. We can make it just a little bit smaller, just like that, just so it fits better. Okay, and you'll notice that this is aligned to the center, so all images will be centered. And since Wednesday is the largest one, we'll try to center it. And by the way, you can scroll through the images on the image set by pressing Shift and rotating the mouse wheel like this. Okay, this way you can preview all the images from the image set and make sure that all of them will fit in the space where you're putting them. Okay, so this is done. We can proceed now, and now I'll add the month day. So month day, we'll go with an image combo. It's this one, the icon with a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is added. We just need to generate. And there we go. Now we'll go with a dark gray, not black. Remember not to use pure black and pure white. There are exceptions, like for example backgrounds. But for elements, you should never use pure blacks or pure whites. Okay, I don't like the 0 for this font, so I will go with Oswald Medium for this one. Okay, there we go. And I think we can do better because right now it has too much space around the numbers. So let's crop the content, and there we go. This is now optimized. And I don't think we have to really match the size of the weekday. It doesn't look bad, I mean. So let's press preview. And there we go. I think this looks good. So I think we can proceed. Okay, now let's tackle one of the hardest widgets. We have several on this watch face, by the way, which is this one here. So we have this sort of a dial markings all around the watch, and we want to recreate this. The problem is we have a tool that we can use to create dials like these. The problem is they are too many. So if I counted them, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 times 4 is 68, I think. No, 64. So there we would need 64 marks. And Facemaker, a dial generator, has a limit of 31. So let me show you here. Generate dial, and you can only go up to 31. If you try to add more, you can't. So this won't work. We have to do it manually. Fortunately, we have another tool that is called the vector draw, which allows us to create whatever kind of lines we need. So let's go into the reference, and I want to rotate one of these so it's centered up here. Okay, so let's do that. Let's rotate this one to 45, I think. Enable the guidelines. Let me see if this is centered. And it's not centered because, you know, we have a 1 pixel here of the image was moved 1 pixel to the right. So if we reset it, we will have it centered. Okay, so here I'll add an image, and will zoom in, and I'll do this in 2 images. So first I will create these smaller ones, these smaller marks, and then I will create the larger ones. And we only need to create half of them. So everything that is to the left of the middle guideline here, okay? So let's do this. Draw vector, and let's start creating these. So 1, and let's press Alt so we can preview. And click, Shift, click, and click, Shift, click, and click. Remember to press Shift, otherwise you will have the control points will be bridged. Okay, there we go. And of course this is not perfect, but we will tune it in a few seconds. Shift and click. There we go. Now we need to fine-tune this, so let's try and make it work. Right there. And this has to be smaller, I think. And you know, this is so small that slight imperfections won't be visible. And I know for sure that it is like that because I usually use this technique to create this kind of theme. So just do your best and try to keep them aligned and do them the best you can. So I think this will work. I'm not sure about the width, and I think I will do them with not with a straight end, so like this. Okay. Now let me see here. This might be too thick. Or maybe not, they will be in a darker color. So I'll call this done, but maybe I can just simply make some slight adjustments here. Remember, I hide the control points by clicking this button here, but they're still there. You can still hide it, okay? So, like this. This and like this. Okay, this should work. Let's save and done. You'll notice that since this is so small, some slight imperfections won't be even visible. Okay, so let's add another image, draw vector, and I will now take care of these larger ones. So click, Alt, click, and Shift click and Alt click. There we go. Now we'll make these much larger, and with a straight tip hide the control points and see what we have here. So I think we can fine-tune it right there and right there, and I believe this will work. So save. And this is now done. We have half of the dial of the marks there. And since this is the same size as the watch canvas, we can simply merge these two. So we have all the lines we created now merged, and we can apply a mirror effect horizontal. And there we go. We have the image we needed. And if I hide this, see that this will work perfectly. Well, maybe not perfect if you go and check it pixel by pixel, but it will work on the watch, believe me. Okay, so now let's show everything else, and we need to put it here instead of here in the middle. So first things first, I am going to apply the mirror. So there we go, and you'll have to make sure that this is the same size as the watch screen, which indeed it is. So 480 by 480, okay? And first I am going to rotate it by 15 degrees. Okay, now it's placed in the right spot. Now I will apply, or rather we can apply the, or maybe not, we can apply first the effect, which is the array rotation. And this we need 12,
and rotate it by 15 degrees each time, I think. No, it's 30, sorry. So 30, there we go. Now we have exactly what we needed, and we can apply, and here we have to make the rotation final. What the hell happened? So the image is correct, but since I applied, let me see here. Oh, it's way too large. Okay, so this has to be minus 54 and make it the same size as the watch canvas, I think. And yes, there you go. And now we apply this size. There we go. Now it is final and it's done. Now this is way too bright. Let me just check here. Let's put back the reference image in place. Now, there we go. I think this is way too bright. So let me see here. And indeed it is. So we can solve this in two ways. So right now it's pure white, right? I want to make it darker. So the way to do it would be to simply, let me see here. Why did I put the reference there? Okay, so here I think I will apply a brightness effect. So let's go into the brightness effect here and lower the brightness. And there we go. Now we can use this method. There are several others. So for example, I could remove the brightness effect and add a fill color instead. And here I would add a darker gray color. So any effect, any of these effects will work, okay? So you choose, and yes, I think this is done. But I believe I wanted to add some effects here first. So for the circles, I will add a noise effect. And you will notice that with the noise, we have some texture to the surface, okay? But 2 might be too much. Let's go with 1. And yes. Let's do the same for the inner circle to break this perfect surface. There we go. Yes, this is the circle top. Circle bottom. And circle left. Okay. Okay, so this one will be the, I don't know, date. And I think we can merge all these because I won't be changing them. So let's do that. It will make our lives easier later. So there we go. So we have all these named and merged, and we can now proceed. So this one will be alter dial. You don't have to do this, but it is good practice in my opinion. So yeah, let's do some other stuff. Let's see here. Okay. So we have all these elements to add. I think I will take care of this one here, or maybe add the month. Okay, let's add the month images right here. So let's add an image, generate, switch to dial, and select hours 12. And you will ask, but Nuno, why are you using an hours 12 dial for the month? Well, because you can simply change their values here. So for example, we can write whatever we want. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September,
October, November, and December. There we go. We have all the month names we need, and now all we need to do is make this the same width as the watch. And then I will select this option here to rotate the names of the month. So there we go. We need to pull them outwards, so let's do that. Something like that. And I might choose another font. Let's go with Roboto Bold and select another color. There we go. Now it needs to be smaller. Something like that. I might push them outwards. There we go. Let's rotate this by 15. Oh, this is not 466, this is 480. Okay, now it is perfect. Nice. Okay, so let's tweak the position. I think this should be even smaller. But, you know, you should always take into consideration how this will look on the watch, because this is what you will see. Okay? This right here. And things have to be visible. If they're too small, your watch face will suck. Okay? Okay, I might make this slightly darker. Not too much. But just enough so you can still read them. And I'm going with this color scheme. The bronze and the dark grays and black. So all these markings on the watch should be at least some sort of gray, some shade of gray. Okay, so this is now done. We can proceed, and I'll take care of these shapes here. So I'm not sure what this is. Not really sure, but I'll do it. It looks like a screw or something like that. So let's put it here and press generate. Go with a small value. And this might work. Let's make it a sphere, 400. And let me see here. Yeah, it has to be bigger. Go with 22 and lock it and see what we have. And I believe this will work. So let's take care of the color. So I'll go with some sort of a gradient here. You don't have to do it because it will have layers. So yes, this will work. So now instead of creating a new circle, I will simply replicate this one or clone it and make it smaller. I'll hide the other one, unlock it, and then we can simply move it. So here, let me see it. This might work. This has to be a much darker color. So perhaps I'll create this one, this darker gray here, and then I'll use a border or a shadow to cast this black part here. So let's do that. Otherwise, it will be too many circles. There we go. And now let's show the other one. And I believe I will apply a brightness effect here and lower it. Something like that. And now we can edit the size. You know, make it look like this is centered, which, and by the way, it's not. So we have to tweak it enough. And yes, I believe this will work. Let me just take a look here at the background, and yes, okay. Now we can clone this one, unhide it, and make it even smaller. Something like that. And move it until it's in the center. And this one will go into the brightness, and instead of lowering it, we'll increase it.
just like that. Let's make sure this is all centered. And of course it isn't. It never is. Okay. And yes, this should work. Okay, now we need to apply some effects. Let's start with this one here, the outer one. And this one will have a shadow. So, shadow, and increase the blur. There we go. Now, this one is trickier, the next one. This one will have a border. It should be black. There we go. Or maybe not pure black, remember. Go with a shade of black. And then I will add a shadow. And this shadow will be very small. So something like 2, something like that. And yes, I believe this will work. And finally, for this one, I am going to apply a inner shadow first. And make it smaller. Just like that. And finally, an outer shadow. So this one. And the shadow has this problem. So it resets the size of the widget, which is not a problem. We can simply now apply and resize it here. And then put it in the middle. Right there. And we'll try to center it. You could do this by hand, by the way. But yeah, I like to do it the hard way, usually. And there we go. Yes, this will work. Okay, so apply everything, apply the size and everything else. And we can now merge these 3. So head and head. And there we go. We have that element there. And we can simply clone it, unlock it, and push it down. What? How does I moved it upwards. I don't know how am I doing these things. So here, unlock it, and we know it has to be on 111 on the X. So, or maybe we can do it using an easier way. So right here we have this image we created. I will crop it to canvas, and then I will apply a mirror effect. There we go, and make it vertical. So there we go. We have the image on the bottom side, just like that, and it's in the same spot, but on the lower side. Okay, so this is done, and we can now proceed. I think that now it's the time to tackle the hands. So we should start creating the needles, or the hands. And if you take a look here at the reference, this is not a hard hand to do at all. So I will rotate the reference image until one of these hands is on the vertical. So facing north completely. So there we go. And now we move it to the right. And we can enable the guidelines. So there we go. And this is sort of centered. I just needed to use it as a reference. So here I will add an image, and we will start building this hand. So draw vector, click and hold and click and go behind the middle guideline, but I see that we have, so this line here is filled here. Okay, it is filled all the way down here. Let me increase the line width first, and this might be too much, or maybe not. Okay, then I will come back down here like that,
just so we have this filling effect, okay? And then I will make a line here and push it down. And this way we will have some sort of filling, okay? And bear with me here, you will understand why I'm doing this in just a moment. So basically we can now save, and this is done, okay? Let's zoom in, and now I'll apply a mirror effect. So mirror and horizontal. There we go. Now this is what we needed. It had to be filled all the way up here or down here, okay? If we only made the lines, it would be a perfect line all the way up to here, okay? So this is why we filled this, and now I think it works much better in our advantage. So here I will apply, I don't think I'll need it anymore. So let's apply it and crop the content. And now let's create this shape on the bottom, this one here. So let's add an image. And here, draw vector, and click, go past the middle guideline all the way down here, and then connect this down here, okay? So let's increase the width and then fill, and there we go. This is done. And now we need to apply a mirror. There we go. This may not look like much right now, but once I give it the right color and apply effects and all that, you will see what I'm talking about. So here I will put this image beneath. See here, right there, okay? And I will crop it to content, and then I will add a fill color. So this fill color will pick this color here and add it to the favorites. And now when we show it, you'll see what we have here, okay? Now this one, this upper shape, I'm going to pick those colors too for the gradient. So here we'll add a gradient effect and pick the color on the bottom. There you go. And then the one on the top. And we might go with first this one here, and then add a new one and pick this brighter color, because we have some sort of a highlight here, and I would like to have it on our image too. So, and yes, this will work. Now I will add a inner shadow effect, and this will be very, very small. So let's go with 1, and the color we'll use is this one. So just so it has some feathering, you know, some effect of it, you know, a softening effect. And this is now done. We can simply apply a shadow effect on this one too. So shadow, and increase just a little bit. Let's go to 4. There we go. And this one is done. Okay, so all we need now is this sort of a circle here. So let's add it. Image, generate, pick that color right there and right there. There we go. Now make it very small. No, not 88, 88. Oh, god damn it. This is the rotation. I want the width. Okay, so let's make it a circle. 200. And this has to be smaller, so let's go with 6. There we go. And yes, this will work. I might make it a little bit lighter. So let's add a brightness. There we go, something like that. And now I will clone it, make it smaller, something like 3. Oh,
3, and then make it darker. Like that. Maybe not so much. And now I will move it and try to put it in the middle. Let's lock it because we can't quite see it, what's happening right now. This has to be 2 and move it to the right, and there we go. Now we can merge these two. Add. There we go. And on this one, I'll add a shadow effect. So shadow, and I don't know, 3 might do the job. And let's bring back all the images, unlock this one, and try to place it in the right spot. So something, yeah, we can't really center it because it's either 0 or 1. We might be able to solve this by making it smaller. Now it should be able to be centered, okay? And this is what we want. So that's perfect. I just need to push it down just a little bit. And let's take a look. And yes, I believe this will work perfectly. Now we need to apply a shadow to this one here. I might go also with a noise effect. So noise, make it smaller, go with a value of 1. This one too, let's add noise. There we go. Almost invisible, but it will add to the effect, okay? So here, let's add a shadow effect. And let's increase the size, so something like this. And we should have a perfect hand that we can use, I guess. Let me just see one thing here. I can't really see this. It's so small. Let's increase the shadow. Like that and like this. Push it down. And yes. I mean, this is so small that it would be almost impossible to see it perfectly. So yes, I think I am going to merge. Maybe not. Just make it increase the size of the shadow here. Might work. So yeah, we have to resize it again and move it. There we go. And there we go. This has to work. So yes, I think we have all the elements. We can now add and add, and we have the hand. Okay, this is done. I'm not going to lose more time with this, and this should work perfectly for these 3 dials. Okay, so now we're able to proceed and create finally the remaining hands. We still need to create the hours, minutes, seconds, and the month hand. So let me show you here. Yeah, let's put the reference back to its place. Right here. You'll see that this hand will rotate and indicate which month it is. So we have to create this one too, here, okay? And this one should be easy enough. All I have to do is rotate the reference image and try and center it. More or less like this. Then I'll add a new image here and zoom in. And as before, we'll draw a vector. So something like this. Comes all the way down here and here. Then here. Here we have a curve and right there, and we can now fill it. I'm going to zoom in because I have to take care of this curvature here. Right there. Let me hide the control points to see what we have. We might need to make it, yeah, more pronounced. And I believe this will work, but I want to compare where the inner circle stops and the outer circle starts. Okay, so let's hide the circle top right here.
Let's hide the marks and hide the reference. So I need to see this black part because the arrow looks like it's coming from beneath the inner circle. So we need to account for that. I'm going to tweak this shape and make it come from the bottom, something like that, okay? And I need to make this rounder, so let's try and find the control points here, something like this, and I believe we have a perfect result. It might not look like much right now, but once we had the mirror effect, so mirror horizontal, you'll see that we have a arrow that will work perfectly for us. So this will work, and I will apply, and then I will crop to content. So there we go. Here we need to apply that gradient, this gradient here. And this is very easy because it has two colors and then a shadow, a dark shadow, okay? So let's do that. So here I'll apply a gradient, and for this color we'll pick this color here, and for the color on the left we'll pick this one here, rotate, and you'll notice that the transition is very soft, while here it's harsh. So let's make it harsh. Let's select this control point and click here to add a point, and then select this one and click here to add a point. And now we have a harsher transition. There we go. Now let's see what the hand looks like, and I think this will work. Okay, so this is done. We now need to apply a shadow, so let's do that. Shadow, and increase the radius, and let me see here. Okay, now we have a problem because this is coming from beneath the let me hide these first. So this is coming from beneath the inner circle, okay, from this one. But right now it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's above everything. And we need to add some sort of gradient that goes from black here into this already set gradient here, okay? So we need to add another gradient. So let's add a gradient, and let's put it behind the shadow, right here. Here we'll select this new option. I had it just 2 days ago, which is the overlay. So the overlay will, if one of the colors on the gradient is transparent, it will show what's underneath. So we want to be able to see this and just overlay black on the bottom side here. So let's do that. Here I'll select black, and here black too, but this one will be transparent. So you see what we're doing, right? So now we added some sort of feathering. It comes from black, and then we have this gradient we set before. So this is perfect, and this should work for our needs. So we have the image. We just need to create the widget and add this image. So let's add a month rotary here, this one. And since we have this image, we can use it for this widget here. Because this is a simple static image. This doesn't do anything. I just used it to create the hand, okay? So let's select it, and here we'll click and press Ctrl C for copy, okay? Now we can hide it and go into the month rotary, click this image preview and press Ctrl V. There we go. Now we have the rotary just waiting to be used. And now we can compare the placement here and try to match the reference. And now we need to set the pivot, which is this red cross here, and set it to the center of the watch face. So let's push it down. And you can go outside the image. It doesn't matter, it will work, okay? And this way we have a small image. The image is just this, okay? But since the pivot is set here, it will rotate around this point, all around the watch. Okay, I think this is perfect, just the way it is, and I can show everything else. Hide the reference, lock the month, and now let's set the start and end angles, because this is where the magic starts or happens. So we have to set it to start here on January, and here and end here also. So January is located on 15 degrees, so let's set it there, 15. There we go. Let's hide this image, we don't need it anymore. Oh, better still, we can simply delete it, okay? Let's go back into this one. So it's set to start on 15, and instead of stopping here on 360, we wanted to go past the 360 by 15 degrees, so 375. There we go. And now when we press preview, sorry, for a Amazfit it starts on December, okay? I'm so sorry about this. So we have to set it to minus 15 and the end angle to 360 minus 15, so 345. There we go. And now when we press preview, there you go, pointing at February, so it's working. And if you take a look at it, it looks like it comes from this gap. So this is exactly what we needed, okay? So this is perfect now, and we can proceed. Yeah, there's only the hours, minutes, and seconds to be done. But I didn't want to create hands for these. If you take a look at the reference here, so these are the hands, and let me just reset the rotation of the image. These are the hands. I have a design of mine which has these hands, but I also have a couple of them on the library that are very similar and that we can use for this design. So I think I'm going to use them, okay? Okay, so here on the widget, I'm going to add a time analog dial container and then add the hours widget. So this is on preview mode. Let me just turn it off. And now we'll go into the library and search for those hands I talked about. So I think, yeah, these, okay? We'll be using these hands. They're slightly similar to what we need. And I think they will work perfectly. So let me add the minutes. And here I will load the minutes one from the library. Now I will be using them, but I will change them slightly, and you will see how. Now we have the minutes, and finally the seconds. No, not minutes, sorry. Seconds. There we go. Let's go into the library and load that last image. It's here. Yes, we're going to use this one, okay? So now we have this, and in the concept you can see that they are sort of a light metal or white color or light gray, but I wanted to keep the the color palette of the theme. So let me show you here. Right now, I think this is too bright. The hands are too bright. Or maybe not. They could work, I guess. But I want to make them copper. So this color here. And how can we do that? Well, I tried this in several ways. The first one was to apply a tint and then messing with the hue of the colors. But that didn't work. I think the best option here is to use a feature, which is the edit file on external editor. And this way you can see how I do this kind of thing. So I will press this button here, edit file on external editor, and the image will open on GIMP. There we go. So just like that, you have the image here ready to work. And now I am going to select all this bright white or gray color. Sorry. I am used to the Facemaker shortcuts, and then this happens. So, okay. I'm going to select all this. There we go. And now that we have this selected, I will add a new transparent layer, and I need to sample some of the colors. So let me see here. I'll hide this one for the moment, and I'll use this. Okay, so I'm gonna print screen, and then here on GIMP I'm going to do Shift Control V. And I pasted the print screen here as a new image. So now I want to pick these colors. So this brighter one, and then this darker one. Okay, so we have these two, and we can use them to create a gradient here. So now I am going to select the gradient tool, which is somewhere here. There we go, gradient. And here we have the gradient tool uses the foreground and the background colors. And I am going to apply it here. So I'll go with the darker color for the bottom and the lighter color for the top one, okay? So something like this. And once this is set, we can apply it. So enter, and we will change the layer mode here, the mode, into multiply, and there we go. So just like that, we changed the color of the hand, and I think it will look better on our design. About this, this will be hidden, I think. Or maybe not. Let me try something here. I am dragging lines like that. And I am going into the circle selection tool and not go from the center. So like that. And now I am going to draw inner lines here. And don't worry if you won't be able to do this, because yeah, this is more technical, and I'm using an auto tool to do this, a third-party tool. Yeah, you have to go more inside of the shape. So let's select it again. So the outer one, and then Control, and remove this from the selection. Okay, like that. And if we wanted to, I could add a transparency and do exactly what we did. Add this and enter, and then set it to multiply. There we go. Now this is also copper, and I don't think this is necessary. I'm just going to override, and when we go back into Facemaker and show the widget, you'll see that it has the colors we used on GIMP. So I'll do the same here for the minutes, and edit file on external editor. And you can see how great it is for you to do this kind of stuff. You don't need to export the image and edit it and then re-import it. You can use any external software. You just have to define the path of your image editor on Facemaker, on the preferences. And I'll show you how in just a minute. Okay, now this is selected, and we can add a new layer and go into the gradient tool and just set the gradient like that, enter, and switch to multiply. There we go. Now this is done, and we can take care of this ring here. Now this image has obvious problems. It has a too strong shadow for me, at least I think. This is too strong, and well, I think it should be a better image. We should use a better image for this, but since I don't have the time, and this is a tutorial that we should try to keep small, and you know, below 2 hours, which won't be possible, I know, but yeah. Okay, so let's set this gradient to, and press enter, and you can see here that we have some level of transparency. And I can solve this by adding a new empty layer, put it beneath the hand, and then using this color here just to fill those transparent pixels right there. Okay, so this is done, and we can now override. And when we go back into Facemaker, just like magic, it will be updated. Okay, so this is done, and then we can show the second hand and do the same. So edit file on external editor, and here I will try to isolate all this white bar. And I know this is boring, but this is pretty much what you have to do. Basically, any watch face, unless you just want hours, minutes, and seconds, a simple watch face will need this kind of work, especially if you are doing something which is complex, just like this one. If you just want to create a simple watch face that has the image of your son or your daughter or your wife, well, you can do it in minutes, and you don't have to do this. I'm just covering the worst case scenario where you really have to create something very complex. Okay, so here, transparency, and let's apply a gradient like this, and press enter and switch to multiply. And there we go. I'm not sure about the red color. I think I'm going to change it. So bear with me here. Yeah, this is starting to look like a GIMP tutorial, although I'm not explaining how you do stuff in GIMP, but this is not the objective here. The objective is to show you how you can create a watch face. So here, I don't want color. I want it to be black or close to black. So first I will desaturate here and choose, well, oh, I forgot to select this layer here. Sorry, colors, saturation, and just remove it. And this might be too light. So okay, let's use another method, which is the color desaturate, and this should be, you should have a way to select, there you go,
another method that will make the hand darker. And there we go. I think this will work. Let's just override, go back into Facemaker, and voila. And now that I look at it, perhaps having it white or even totally copper, I think would make it look better. Let's go back into Git, and here I will undo twice, and I'll use that method, the saturation method, and remove all the saturation. There we go. And now I will use the gradient, just like this. And now, oh dear, I headed into this layer. Let's select this one, just like that. And yeah, it won't work. I think I have to select another layer. Let's undo or go back and add a new layer. Here I'll set the gradient, just like that. And then I will play with the modes here. So perhaps this one. And yes, I think this one will work. So file, overwrite. Let's go back into Facemaker, and there you go. And I believe, yes, this is much better. Okay, you can see we have a clear separation there. Okay, I think this will work much better. And yes, this is our watch face. You'll notice that in the reference we have weather here and steps. I don't think, oh damn, I have these numbers to add, so let's do that. Sorry, they should be beneath the circle. So here I'll add an image, and this will be fast, so I set it here, so somewhere on, let's say 48 by 48, and press generate and dial, and let me select ours 12, go with maybe, yes, Oswald medium might work. Let's increase the size and make it perhaps a little bit brighter. There we go. And now we have 48 by 48, 96, so 480 minus 96, 384. So 384. There we go. And now we have to rotate the numbers. There we go. Push them outwards. And perhaps make the font just a little bit smaller. And yes. And now you'll notice that here on the bottom, the numbers are inverted. So let's do that. There you go. And maybe just a little bit outwards, or inward, or outwards, yeah. Just like that, okay? And yes, I think this will work. Let me show everything else, but the reference, and yes, this will work perfectly. So now I'll add just a little bit of shadow here. So let's zoom in and increase just a little bit the, there you go. This way they will pop up just a little bit more, and I think this works wonderfully. So this is done also. Perhaps they're a little bit too bright, so let's apply a brightness effect and lower it. There you go. And I think I will go with shadow for the month also. Because the brightness. So shadow, and increase the blur. And there we go. So yeah, this will be enough. So this is done now, and we can proceed. Let me just check the rest, and all widgets are created. We can now finish this by adding a always on display.
And for the always on display, I will copy some of the elements we created. So here, I will use these right here, these marks. Let me just find them, this one. So Control C, and here on the always on display, I'll add a background and press Control V. There we go. We have it here, but we need a grayscale version. So grayscale, there we go. This might be too bright, but yeah, we're gonna use it. So this is done, and now let's add the analog dial too. So widget, and then time analog dial, and let's select these two. Control C here on the analog dial, Control V, and we have both of them. So I can now add a grayscale effect to this one and this one. There we go. If I press preview now, you'll see what we have here. So this is a very simple watch face that you can create on Photoshop or GIMP, but you can also create it on Facemaker. And I think I am finished. I only have to add this one and this one. Yeah, and the top one. Okay, we still have a few widgets to add, so this will be quick, I think. I had an image and load from the library something that represents power. So this one here. So let's crop it to content, resize it, and place it here. I think I will edit the guidelines and try to make them centered on this image. So this way we can better resize and center this image too. So let me take a look here. I think this is big enough, and indeed it is. So all I need to do now is apply a brightness effect and lower the brightness just so it doesn't stand out so much. And yes, this is it. I just need to add a system battery. There we go. And put it here. Add a rotary. And then I will load that hand we created earlier. So let me just hide the analog dial here. You'll see that we have this hand we haven't used yet. So I am going to use it now. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so click the image preview, Control C, and here on the battery, so click the image preview and Control V. There we go. Now we can put it here, and it's centered. And now we can place the pivot, just like that, and set the start and end angle. So it has to start here and end here. I'm going with minus 150, I guess, yes, and ending on 150. There you go. So this one is set. The next one will be the steps for this one here. And let's add the health, steps, main container. Here we'll add a rotary, and inside the rotary we need this image again. So let's select it, Control C, and here click Control V. There we go. And now we can put it down here, and I'm going to center the guideline too. So this will make our lives easier, just like that. Okay, so this is set. We can turn off, and then just center it there. There you go. Place the pivot and set the start and end angle. So minus 150 and 150. There you go. And the steps are done. I just need to add some sort of icon here. Let me just add an image. Go into the library, stencils, and let's go with this one perhaps. And yeah, I like this one. So let's resize it. Try to keep it the same size as that one there. And there we go. We place it here. And now we need to apply that brightness. Okay, so this is done. And finally, we just need to account for this one. This one is a heart rate. So, oh, by the way, we should always have the analog dial on top of all the others. So let's move this one in here. And here we'll have an ELF and heart rate. There you go. And put it beneath the analog dial, remember. So here I'll add a rotary as before. And now let's copy this hand image. So Control C and then rotary, Control V. There we go. And now we can hide this image. And let's tweak the guidelines here again. So like that. And now we can center it. So zoom in. There you go. Now we have to set the pivot. And we're all set. All we need to do is set the start and end angles. And we're done. All we need to do is add a heart image. So let's go in stencils and select this one here. I'll crop the content and scale it. Let me compare here. Maybe slightly smaller. Put it there and then apply the brightness effect. And we can lock it and done. Now we can show all the other layers and see how we're doing. We turn off the guidelines and press play, and there we go. We have a finished watch face. How great is that? Okay, so yes, this was the tutorial for today. Sorry that it was so long, but it usually has to be because these are complex watch faces with many elements. So doing it in 2 or 2.5 hours is nothing for this, okay? Usually experienced designers take days to create something like this. So there you have it. It's a watch face for a Amazfit. Hopefully this will be the last watch face before the grand opening of the Facemaker store. It is almost done, and hopefully on the next tutorial I'll be showing you how to create a wearOS watch face on Facemaker. Okay, so stay tuned, and I hope you like this video and keep coming for more. I'll see you on the next one. So bye.